Henceforth, I will be renaming the film Penelope to Meg because they spend 90 minutes greatly exaggerating the unattractiveness of Christina Ricci. Let me explain. Penelope is a 2006 family-friendly rom-com starring Christina Ricci, James McAvee, and Catherine O'Hara, and Reese Witherspoon. So here's the deal. 5 generations before she was born, Penelope's like great-great-great-granddad or some shit like that was wienering one of the servant girls. And he wanted to marry her until his family was like, nah, bitch. So he married some socialite. And the servant he was taking advantage of jumped off a cliff. But they were very nonchalant about it. Like, weirdly nonchalant. But anyway. So it turned out that the girl's mom was the town witch. And then, so the town witch went to the house and cursed him and the family. And that the first girl born would have the face of a pig. And then it turned out they had all boys until one girl came along, but it turned out that the girl was the daughter of the chauffeur, so she didn't count. But then Penelope ended up being the first girl born in like 5 or 6 generations. And she came out looking like a piggy. And she had like little folded over ears like a pig. And she had a little snout for a nose. And apparently she just grew up hideous. Like, to the point people were jumping out of windows to stay away from her. And that's why I bring up Family Guy, because this was the most Family Guy-est fucking movie I have ever seen. You know, when people take a look at Meg, and like, I think one guy set himself on fire at one point, people jumping out of windows to avoid her. Yeah, like, men were literally jumping out of second-story windows when they saw her face. Now, here's the thing. Penelope is not actually ugly. Like, even a little bit. Bitch, where? Okay, she got a little bit of a snout for a nose. Like, who cares? And she wears her hair long and down this whole movie, so I have no idea if her ears, like, still flop over. But you can get those pinned, like, if it's that big of a deal. They said she had fangs, but there's no fangs. It's just a little bit of, like, a snout nose. Okay, and so the only way to break the curse is for her to get married. And someone, you know, to fall in love with her, and then the curse is broken. Think Fiona and Shrek. Well, like I said, every time a man sees her, he, like, runs away. And so they keep her shut in the house. And they keep her shut in away from all the tabloids, except Peter Dinklage, who is, like, some sort of tabloid guy. And he's been on the lookout for her since she was a baby. Like, they faked her death so that nobody could see her in public. Well, this one potential suitor managed to get out of the house before he had to sign the gag order. And so he went to the police, and then the police arrested him. And as he was leaving, Peter Dinklage found him, and so they ran a tabloid story. And they're like, well, we need a photo so that we have evidence. So they hired this one guy who was like a poker player, and he went under a fake name. And they're talking through a 2-way mirror, so like she can see him, but he can't see her. And they talk over the course of a couple of days. Like, they come like very close to each other until he finally sees her face. And he's a little taken aback, but it doesn't seem to be that much of an issue, but he still goes. And he's all like, I'm sorry, I can't be with you. Because I guess he feels guilty for taking the money for getting a picture of her. And then she runs away so that she can go experience this city, because she's never actually seen the city before. And she makes friends with Reese Witherspoon. And she learns to love herself. And then her secret is out, and everybody is seeing her, and everybody's like, oh no, she's hideous. But then the one guy that ran away from her originally that didn't sign the gag order tries to marry her so that he looks good in front of everybody. And she's like, no, bitch. And as she learns to love herself, the curse is broken, and then she has a regular face again. And then she runs into, what's his name, Max? No, Max was fake name. Johnny. His name was Johnny. And she runs into him again at his apartment on Halloween, but he was fixing to leave, and then they fall in love. The end. Now, did I like it? I don't like it for me, but I don't know, maybe some tweens? Older children, I guess? This feels little girl's sleepover-esque, but not for me. But it's nice that she learned to love herself. But also, I feel like having like a pig nose isn't the worst thing in the world that could happen to you. Like, outside of that, she is conventionally attractive. Really, even within the nose. And is very rich, like old money rich. I think you could be doing worse in life. But you know, her parents were so desperate to fucking marry her off so that they could break the curse. Why didn't they try somewhere else other than like their little, I don't even know where the fuck they were. Little English village? Little Irish village? We were somewhere in Europe. Supposedly New York City is so filled with so many different types of people, nobody would have gave a shit. My hometown, even with a piggy nose, you would have been a solid 7. I'm sure there's more places, I just can't think of them right now. Maybe Seattle. I'm gonna give this like a 6 out of 10 because it's a cute story. However, like, She wasn't ugly this whole time, so it felt very Family Guy-esque. So 6 out of 10. Okay, bye. You are beautiful no matter what they say. Piggy, no.